everyone. It's your girl Dawn Edwards, and I'm so happy to be here with my friend and kidney care expert, Kim Davis. And we're going to have this really important discussion about how to advocate for yourself
Mhm.
as a dialysis patient. So, let me introduce my friend, Kim Davis, who is the director of home dialysis therapies at the Rogosin Institute in New York City, New York. She's a medical expert in dialysis care. She is absolutely committed to providing patients with access to home options, as well as mentoring nurses to have a mission and a purpose. She provides expertise in helping people achieve excellence in their health, wellness, and business goals. So let's just jump into this discussion, Kim, and chop it up about advocating for the care that you deserve.
Okay.
And I'm going to start with my first question, Kim.
Mhm.
Why is advocacy so important in dialysis? And let's just think about both people who are managing late stage kidney disease as well as people who unfortunately crash
Mhm.
into dialysis.
Well, there's two different advocacy types that I look at. One is you being an advocate for yourself, and the other is us as your healthcare team giving you the feeling that we're advocating for you.
Yeah,
So the mutual benefit there, because you have to be enormously selective of your healthcare team to treat you the way that you want to be treated, and I think that's really important that the first team you meet isn't always the one you fall in love with, but over here you always do.
that's right.
Rogan.
That's right.
So there would be two ways to look at that question, overall from your personal perspective as well as your team perspective.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate enough to be a Rogosin patient, so I can definitely attest to the fact that you do fall in love with your care team, and you should fall in love with your care team. If not everybody, at least one member of your care team,
Mhm.
because that definitely empowers you to be able to advocate for yourself. So let's jump into question number two. Why do so many patients find themselves without many options? And what can they do to self-advocate?
Hmm. Well, when someone thinks they don't have any options, I think that there may be a lack of education or knowledge that you honestly do have options. It's just that you're not aware of them or feel like you don't have any. I think that's probably the worst feeling that a patient could have is, I don't have any other option other than to do this. If you are doing that, then there's always a way to live well within it. So if you're not being shown those ways to have a higher quality of life with the option that you're presently in versus where you could go, I think either one, you might be maybe a little too shy or not advocating for yourself,
Right.
or hopefully no one from the healthcare team is giving you negative feedback that is keeping you from asking additional questions.
Yeah, that's a great answer, Kim. And just to add a little piece to that, you should never feel like you don't have options. If you feel that way, then you need to talk to someone on your care team, because kidney disease is not a death sentence, and you should never feel like you don't have any options. If one isn't working for you, then you should try something else. And you got to talk to someone in your care team. Never feel like you don't have any
Mhm.
options. So I'll ask you this, Kim, and I have my feelings about this, but what's the hardest part of self advocacy?
I think it's initially feeling the confidence to ask a question, or if having conversation with a physician or, a nurse that's, I'm an expert in what I do. I'm not an expert in what I do. I'm an expert in helping you is what I am. And I think that people often fear that they can challenge a healthcare provider.
Yeah,
Maybe they're not given a voice to speak. Even when the care team is rounding, it's everyone else talking but them. So it could be the environment not being conducive to allow someone to participate, which they should, and they need to be participating in their own care.
absolutely. Um, we patients, we need to know that we are the most important part of the care team. And Kim, you've been a nurse for decades, and I know that you make sure that your patients feel like they're a part of the care team, but everybody doesn't. Unfortunately, that's not the case in all situations. But
Mhm,
we patients, we have to know that we are a part of the care team and we should be empowered to advocate for ourselves. So, Kim, let me ask you this. What missteps do you see made between both patients and their care providers? And how can that be avoided or improved?
well, patients asking questions or trying to advocate for themselves, sometimes their perspective may not be correct either, so let's be honest with that,
Yeah,
in that they may not know all the medical benefits in doing what they're doing or assuming their own care, especially with like in-center self-care.
yes,
um, I'm not going to take care of myself because my insurance pays for you to take care of me. And that was a real comment last week during an education session. And it truly misses a mark. I actually said, like, the person doesn't really understand, like, what their own participation does to their own quality of life. So it's always not about the healthcare team being at fault or having to try different things. It's also a mutual piece of it with the patient,
right.
understanding, trying, goal setting. You have to set goals for yourself. I think that's one of the things that is rarely done
Yes, you're
with
right.
patients. And I think that if people did that more frequently, you would achieve more success because you can come to a mutual discussion and then you can also have a participation portion of it for the patient, for the family, for everyone else to successfully move through whatever they're doing instead of randomly choosing different things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Patients are part of the care team, but we have to work together
Mhm,
in order to be successful and for you to get
mhm.
that kind of care that you deserve.
I
Uh,
think, Dawn, you have a really great story about how you advocated for yourself to get on home dialysis.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was so unhappy in center and I just knew that there had to be a better way. So I had to figure out for myself and I got on the computer and I looked up, different providers until I could find the provider that was offering the treatment option that I thought was going to work best for me. And fortunately, I found the Rogosin Institute where I looked up, all of the options that you all provided, and thankfully, I, got into a home dialysis program that has been working for me. Thank goodness for the past 13 years. So, it's really been a great success story for me, standing up for myself, advocating for myself, and looking for the treatment option that was going to work best for me. And Kim, I know you have millions of stories of patients that you've been able to empower to advocate for themselves. so
Mhm.
that they could find the treatment option that worked for them. And if one doesn't work for you, like you said, try something else.
Yeah, personally, I had someone in my home program that was lacking family members who really wanted a transplant, and I firmly believe that him staying on dialysis was probably the worst thing that would not improve his quality of life at that point. And I actually signed up to be his support person with transplant, and he was, dragging his feet a little bit. And on the ride home one day, I was driving, saw a billboard for one of the transplant programs that said low wait time, and of course I live in New Jersey and work in New York. And I actually challenged the patient to go. And I said, you have a week to make an appointment, especially if I'm going to sign up to be your support person.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And he had been on dialysis for 8 years, and ended up going for the appointment, got listed the week after that. 2 weeks after his initial visit, he was called for a transplant.
Look at that. See, Kim, that's what
Mhm.
makes you the nurse extraordinaire that I described in the beginning.
Yeah.
And, I'm just so happy that you've come into my life and that, we've been able not only to have a clinical relationship, but able to become friends as well. So, Kim, I have one more question for you, and we're going to wrap it up. What's the most important piece of advice that you would give to a dialysis
Mhm.
patient or their loved ones to help them to be successful and to, our word at the Rogosin Institute is thrive and, get their wings back. So,
Mhm.
what kind of advice would you give a patient or their loved one to help them to thrive or get their wings back?
Mhm. Well, one is you need to be in front of the right people to show you how to do that. The other is, if you're not experiencing that, is to ask more questions,
Absolutely.
and to be relentless, and don't taking not taking no for an answer. If you're having surgery or something like that of pretty serious nature, how many people go for a second or third opinion?
That's
There's
right.
no reason why you cannot go for a second or third opinion until you find the environment that's going to make you feel that way and help you to be the most successful. So, if the healthcare team that's presently taking care of you is you're the consumer. So it doesn't hurt to go visit another program and find out exactly what they're doing or how much experience they have had. Um, the institute that I work for, we've had more than 20 years of experience with home dialysis and have a very large program. So that might be what works better for you. Or we also offer different types of treatments that aren't offered in every single home program. Monitored nocturnal program. We put people on home dialysis with vascular catheters, and don't always require you to have an access in your arm. So you have to find the program that matches up with you, and that they're going to be your extended family. It's like adopting another family.
That's that's right. And
Yeah.
yeah, and guys, remember, you need different things at different times in your kidney journey.
Mhm.
So always remember, if one treatment option isn't working for you, if you're not happy, if you're not achieving your personal goals, if you're not feeling well or feeling your best, try something else. And
Mhm.
that goes for the provider as well. If
Yeah.
one provider is not providing you the kind of care that you want, or you're not happy and you're not getting your wings back, then reach out, speak up, and find somebody else. That's not always easy in all areas because I know that everybody can't just switch providers, but empower yourself, speak up, stand up for yourself, and don't just accept what's given to you. Do you
Mhm.
agree with that, Kim?
I absolutely agree with that. I feel that you have to come from your best place and we need to meet your needs. So, um, Sometimes, a group that's a little more experienced may be what you need. But you should always have a positive experience and a team that you feel that you can work with and that's on your side and is your ally. So that's some of my better words for people who are on this program today. And I hope you feel empowered by things that Dawn and I have said. I can't state it enough that you should give it a try and try it out. You can always try it, like Dawn said. You can move between modalities, but the most important thing is that the quality of your life is great, and that you experience wellness and that you're feeling good despite being on dialysis.
Yeah, exactly, Kim. And just always remember, guys, dialysis is not supposed to hurt. Your whatever option that you have, whatever option it is supposed to make you feel great.
Mhm.
So, Kim, everything that you said was so enlightening. I really enjoyed the opportunity to switch roles and to interview you and to have this
Yeah.
have this little chop it up session with you. Thank you so much for all of your insights. Thank you for being an excellent nurse, and thank you for the time that we've been able to spend together today.
Thanks so much, Dawn, and right back at you, my best friend over there, who I've known for a long
Smooches,
time.
smooches to you, baby. So now we're going to kick it back over to David, and we're going to move on to our next patient panel. So back to you, David.